So the original plan for this car was to put this motor into it. The motor that we got the head shaved on, but it's been 2 weeks and I'm still waiting on parts. So Corona is even screwing up my parts coming in the mail, I guess, because where are they? I put a lot of money into this. Not a whole lot of money, actually. Probably about 500 bucks, which is not that much. Which is really not that much. 500 bucks got me a new head gasket, new timing belt, head shaved, a couple other hidden pieces that you guys might not know about inside the motor. But anyway, about 500 bucks is my investment into this. My original plan was to take this motor and marry it to this transmission, because this transmission, last time it was driven, 0 issues. 0. So I'd like to use this transmission. But because those parts are not in, I can't use that motor. So we're going to have to dig deep into our parts bin. Ready for this? We need a light. Where's a light? There's a light. Does this have a battery? No, she's got a dead battery. Let's put a battery on it and I'll show you. Okay, so we put the 12 amp hour battery on this one light because we want it to stay on for years. Oh my god, that's bright. But this will make this battery last for like 2 weeks. Sorry, this battery will make this light last for 2 weeks. The lighting's not all that great over here. See, that's about as good as it gets. You guys have been asking about this car, and it's still sitting here, don't worry about it. But what we're gonna do, this motor here, oh, I thought this is the motor I took to Dresden. Is this not the motor I took to Dresden? What is this motor out of? Why is this motor even sitting here? I thought this is the motor I took to Dresden. No, the motor in there. Where's the mini meltdown motor? Maybe that's the mini meltdown motor? Oh my god, I'm so confused with my motors. Where did I run this one? Has this gun got water in it? Sorry, oil. Water in the oil. Looks good. Where's this motor from? I spray painted this transmission, but I don't even know if this transmission... I think this was my mini meltdown motor and I put a different header on it. That's what I'm thinking. Because honestly, I'm getting so confused on what motor is what, because I really need to remember what these things are out of, because my god. But I spray painted this transmission yellow, which means this transmission doesn't work. But if I don't remember what this motor's out of, then how am I supposed to know? Harley, what is this motor out of? Even she doesn't know. God, why do I do this to myself? Anyway, I think I'm just going to put this motor into that car. I might even just put this transmission, even though it's painted yellow. Why did I paint it yellow? I'm not sure. You know what, before I lose track of everything, hold on. I'm going to do this on camera, so all that you guys that watch my channel regularly, when I say, why is this painted red, you guys can say it's because that motor is junk. So we're spray painting the head red, spray painting the block red. Just that right there. That's no good. You guys need to remember that, because I'm going to forget. This red means that this motor is no good. Because I did that on camera, because now you guys will remember. And when a year from now, when I say, why is that motor red? It's because it's no good. I need to spray paint this stuff as soon as it comes out of cars. Here's my problem. The motor that's in this one, I think is the motor I took to Mini Meltdown in 2019. But it's got a different header on it. Where did I run this motor with that coffee cup on it? The one I took to Mini Meltdown had one of Josh Archambault's first headers on it, and a guy ran on my hood and messed up that. Where's this motor from? I'm thinking this motor's good, I just think the transmission is bad. That's what I'm really thinking right now. So, yeah. So I went inside for legitimately 20 minutes and I figured it out. This motor here that I thought was Dresden is not Dresden. This is my mini meltdown motor. This motor is the one I took to the USA, to Morris, New York, to mini meltdown in 2019. And what gives it away is that motor mount, because I remember I built that for mini meltdown rules because they told me that my big motor mount on the front of it would not pass their rules. So I came up with a different design to make the motor mount solid in the front to meet their rules. So this is the mini meltdown motor, and this is the one here that had the header that got all mangled up. So that means this motor over here is my Dresden motor. That makes sense now because I put the header on, the coffee cup on it, because Dresden was raining. And when it came back, I scrapped the Lexus because this motor actually went into a Lexus. That's what this is from. And I was allowed to run my solid motor mount on the front of it, and that's why I removed the solid motor mount. I figured it out. It just took me quite a while to do it. What threw me off was the transmission, because I thought I had a different transmission cooler in Mini Meltdown, but I must have swapped around some fittings so it didn't lose all the oil like this one did on the ground. Mini Meltdown, I also broke passenger side tie rod. So this one here actually still has the nut on it, which that's where I broke it, was the nut broke off. So this is not my Mini Meltdown car. So that means we're going to use this motor. That means that that transmission is garbage, because at Dresden I lost first, which is a weird thing to lose. So yeah, that transmission's garbage, so we still have to remove this transmission. So we're going to get this onto the other side of the garage. It's just, I need to know where this stuff's coming from, because if I don't know where it's coming from, then I'm just going to end up putting a junk motor or a junk transmission into a car that's still good. So anyway, I'm upset about this now, so this thing's coming off. The transmission's going to go. But we're keeping the motor. So, hooray! This is a Jeffy's Fab Farm header, and it has no brackets on it for the shifters, so we're probably going to use the gray area bracket that's already on the transmission and go from there. So I'll have half Jeffy's, half gray area, that kind of stuff. Yes, this is from a V6 car. See that piece of exhaust tubing? I have to put that in when I put a 4-cylinder in a V6 car. So this is my motor from Dresden, 2019. When I took the V6 Lexus there, but ripped out the V6 and put this into it. So this motor is good. It ran great. It never really gave me any issues. But we're going to pull it out. We're going to pull this transmission off, and we're going to put a different transmission on. We got to get it up and off the, subframe, and over there. But why didn't I get rid of the AC going to Dresden? That's kind of weird for me. I don't know. Sometimes I do weird things. Who knows? But yeah, screw it. We got a game plan. Let's go with it. So I got the motor off the subframe, and I've been saving this subframe because I thought it wasn't bent. But guess what? It's bent. So I'm probably not going to save this subframe. It's not a super bad bend. It probably will bolt right up, but I measured this side here is about 1/2 inch to 1 inch taller than that side. You can kind of see it compared to the two. So you can kind of see this side's taller. So I'm probably not going to use this subframe. That's why I put red paint on it. I'm going to put a little bit more on before she goes, but I had to cut one tie rod because it was all buggered up. But realistically, we still have a power steering rack and stuff like that, and some control arms, and I saved the spindles, so don't worry about the spindles. I got one axle because apparently I already stole the other one. And then we got the motor. The motor's out of the car, hanging from the engine crane. We're going to get a little bit higher. We're going to drain the engine oil. We're going to drain the transmission oil, so in that way it's less likely to go all over my floor, because I've been trying this new thing of keeping my shop clean. It hasn't been going that well. But it looks better than what it normally looks. There's not huge spills of oil that I got to clean up after every motor swap. So I've been trying that. A little different for me, but oh, that's where I put those. Found them. They're right there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drain the transmission oil, the engine oil. We're going to pull the back motor mount out. Yeah, we're just going to basically drain everything. This transmission is garbage, but I kind of want to go through it and see if they're rebuildable. A transmission shop in Alliston, which is the next closest town to big enough to me to have a transmission shop, and I phoned one in Barrie, Ontario. They told me it was about $3,500 to rebuild one of these. I want to take one apart. I've never taken one apart, so maybe that might be a different video. I see rebuild kits for these on Rock Auto. I have not bought a rebuild kit, but maybe I'll try it. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing inside of a transmission, but that's how I learned a lot as a kid, was just taking stuff apart. Sometimes you don't put it back together, but that's a different video. So we're going to tear this thing down, and I would like to get this motor pretty much bare. So I'd like the transmission off. I'd like it on the ground. I'd like everything separated, the torque converter off, all that fun stuff. And the subframe we're going to put back on the other side of the shop and store it, so then that way I'm not tripping over it. I'm going to probably take the steering rack off because I store the steering racks off the subframes just so the subframes stack a little bit nicer. So let's do a little bit more work and then I'll be right back here with you guys. So I tried pretty hard, but I made a mess. Not a big one compared to some of the other messes I've made. I don't know a whole lot about transmissions, especially automatics. I don't know a whole lot about them, but something that I don't know is right or not is there's some clunking inside here. I don't know if that sound's supposed to come out of that. So this transmission is done. The motor is not. So we did drain the oil out of the motor. And we did drain all the oil, well, what's ever left of it's coming out now apparently, but I thought we did drain all the oil out of that as well. So now the next thing we got to do is we got to lift up this motor, because when you pull the motor off, there's a couple bolts on the bottom you got to take off. So I got to use the engine crane, I got to put that engine down, and I got to pick this one up and unhook the transmission. I'm going to drain the oil of the transmission and the oil out of the motor, because again, it's easier for me to drain it now than it is when I throw it outside and try to drain it outside. But with that motor painted red, I better remember that that motor's junk. So that's what we're going to do now, is we're going to set this thing down out of the way, maybe on a tire, so then that way it doesn't damage the oil pan, but I'm not overly concerned about it. And we're going to pick up that one, and we're going to take that transmission off. Now I'm going to spray paint that transmission red as well. It's got yellow on it, but damn, red don't hurt. So we're going to put some red on it, and then we're going to continue what we're doing. So I'll be right back. There is so many engines and transmissions laying around in this garage in the last 2-3 days that it's getting confusing. So this one right here is in the car, so I'm not too concerned about that one. That one there, I'm going to have to really paint that one to let me know that's the one that's got the work done to it, but the parts are still not in! It's been 2 weeks! Where's my parts? Damn coronavirus is stopping my parts. But, here we go. Green means good. Green means good, red means bad. Any of you guys on construction sites know what that means. No frickin' good. Have to keep it PG though. And red, this means no good as well. Just so you know, remember how I said that's got a clunking noise? This one's got a clunking noise too. So apparently that's normal. Like I said, I don't really know that much about automatic transmissions. So I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. The transmission I'm going to keep over here on this side. This motor I'm going to throw over onto the storage side. I'm not going to throw it out right now. It's still got a lot of good parts. You're talking fuel injectors, coil packs, spark plugs, timing belts, alternators, crank sensors, cam sensors, stuff like that. I even want to do something crazy with an intake. Wiring harness is still good. This still has a lot of good parts on it. But maybe in the future I might have a good video for this. We've seen how long a V6 Toyota Camry runs with no oil in it. This one has no oil in it as well. So maybe we'll see how long a 4-cylinder will run with no oil. V6 is 5 minutes. Do you think a 4-cylinder will beat 5 minutes? This one's here is kind of hurt already, so probably not. But, whew, there's a lot more to do, and there's still no motor in the car. So that's where I'm going to end today's video. It's been a long day. I got a lot done, actually. Breaking these motors and transmissions apart is not an easy job. There's a lot of bolts, lots of things, little things to come on and off, but we got her done. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll be getting the torque converter, the good torque converter, back inside that transmission, and getting the transmission bolted to this motor, and hopefully getting the whole pile of garbage thrown in that piece of garbage. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow.